please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box if you are if you have questions. Okay. Right. I think it's good to start, because it's already 7:37 and more than half of the class or half of the class is here already. All right. So my references are from the notes that I've gathered also from the different lectures, from these different organizations, institutions. So from the Royal Academy of Engineering, FarStar, Asian Institute of Management. And I think I've sent you in advance all those videos that I wanted to share so that you might have an idea already the things that you need to include in your pitches. So the pitching event will be by team, not to first and foremost. And I asked you before to organize yourselves, because I want you to discuss this presentation with your teammates. So it's about your business idea. So from the title itself, pitching your business idea. So that means that we are actually from the scratch. All right, so the contents include establishing your goal for the pitch. Why are we doing this pitch? So what do you want to achieve at the end of your pitch? All right, so we also need to highlight the problems, why we're tackling this problem, the structure of your pitch, the story behind your business idea, your startup idea. Then we should be able to discuss about the problem solution approach behind it. So basically, we highlight the value proposition. So what is the value proposition? Why is this solution that we have is better than the competition? Do you think that your solution is the only solution that is available right now? So we discuss about intellectual property. So why is it very important to have an IP? So we discuss, we have that video. Why we need to have an IP, because that provides you a distinct advantage in the market when you have an IP. That means that you control the market when you have an IP or patent or utility model. Now, we kind of go back also to the presentation of the business model, the kind of competition that we have, the strategy and traction. What are these? So these are the things that we will also cover. Basically, we will highlight your team members, your team. Okay, so what comprises your team? Who are you guys? So are you capable of kind of putting this together, this business idea? So are you the right persons within the team to tackle this idea? And then if you can cover also the financials and target market, who is your target market? So we talk about this focusing on the customers before. Kinsa man din yung mga customers that we want to address, the solutions we have. And finally, you ask. So when you pitch, basically at the end of the day, you let the investors know and understand what is your business idea all about. And if you are watching Shark Tank, nakakita na ba mo Shark Tank? Dagan kayo sa YouTube, you will see Shark Tank. So a lot of entrepreneurs, mga startups, they're pitching for money, di ba? They're pitching for money from Mark Cuban sa Dallas Mavericks tag-iya, so they're asking for money basically. At the end of the day, it's all about asking the money. They just have to settle how much percentage, or like for example, for those investors to be part of the company, to be part of your company, when you agreed on a particular investment price or investment value, then you later on agree how much percentage you will be giving to those investors. So basically, it's just the same. Now, if you watch a Shark Tank, it's not that they are presenting PowerPoint. They actually memorize all their pitch. They don't have a PowerPoint to provide to investors. And there are a lot of people there who have provided their pitch that really, really like very impressive, because they're able to articulate their business ideas and also come up with the investment. But there are also many proponents, those who pitch, that they were not even able to articulate. They were not able to really highlight what's the problem that they are trying to solve and what is really the business. So sometimes there are things like that when you watch Shark Tank. So basically, these are the things that we need to kind of clarify with you guys. And if you have doubts, questions, maybe we can have a discussions later on, no, at the end of this lecture. All right, so the goal, no, so we need to really focus on ourselves, on how we go through our pitch, and then to finally ask for something at the end of our pitch. What is really our goal? Are we seeking for investment or something like that? So we know we have a pitching event, but this is not the end of the activity that we have. What we're trying to do here is, in the future, you guys, if you'll be able to start with your business idea, we want you to like prepare yourself that you will be able to ask definitively about how much money do you need for your business idea to really launch to the market. So things like that. No? So at the end of your presentation, you might really consider, or you might even the pitching event this Wednesday. No? So you should be able to articulate the things that you need, no, the things that you need from your presentation at the end of your presentation. So I need 100,000, 1 million pesos to help me, something like this. Now, so you have to frame that in your mind as you go along to your presentation. So you remember the 7 habits of highly effective people. Okay, so there's one habit that it says that begin with an end in mind. All right, begin with an end in mind. Okay, so meaning to say, at the end of the day, you'll be able to really identify, so what you really want from that's why we are trying to frame our ask, so to focus ourselves and frame what we really want to achieve when we present. Right. So we go with problems now. So people have short attention span. So that's why pitching events have always been like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. 10 minutes is even long. And when you have a 15 minutes, it's like talking already or presenting already topics or lessons. So it's like the 10x already. So usually when we pitch, the first few seconds or minute, the first minute will always be remembered, and perhaps the last. And in between, sometimes people get lost, to what you're talking already, because of course, everybody has a short attention span. So basically, our objective is to really catch the attention of the listeners, of the panel, the members of the panel, that they need to be interested with this business idea of yours because of the particular reasons why in the first place you're doing this business. Okay, so that's basically the idea there. Okay. So when we pitch with business event investors, we're actually competing for time. So if you look at the real world, not in the particular, like we are in the university right now, but if you go out, when you are already professional, when you go out, so investors doesn't have all the time in the world. So that's why there is such thing as elevator pitch, because you're trained yourself not to pitch your idea in just less than 1 minute. To speak to an investor for 1 minute, less than 1 minute. Sometimes, can you give me a minute? Then that's the way you begin, and then begin your pitch, and then you end up in 1 minute. And if they're interested, you can make a follow-up meeting. So something like that, just to hook the investors, to talk about what your business idea is. And of course, in the more formal setting of a pitching event, so you will be given enough time. Like for example, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes is already very long for investors. So it's just 3 minutes, 10 minutes, because there are so many of you that will be looking for that for the support that you need. Like basically at the end of the day, it's always about money, because you want your business idea to be developed. And without money to support that business idea, then it's becoming difficult for you to like come up with a minimum viable product, if that is basically related to hardware. So how you think you present and communicate and ask, we need to be very clear about it. So that's the challenge that we have. So we need to be very clear about it. Okay. So but the problem is that when we communicate, just admit Ralph, Ralph is joining us. So the problem with us when we actually communicate, there's always like a problem, no? Because sometimes we don't organize ourselves. So we don't plan at all, no, in terms of how we deliver our presentation, for example. So basically, most of our time are spent. No? So in terms of like, for example, in this 1.5 hour class, you might be spending half day to a day, no, in terms of preparing for this PowerPoint presentation that I've been providing you, that I am providing you right now. That means that it takes a lot of time to prepare, and then you deliver it in a way that you have very limited time. But in that preparation, of course, you need to think what should be included in the PowerPoint, what should be included in the things that I want to say, what are the content of the messages or the content of the presentations that I'll bring across the message that I want to bring to my listener. Now, things like that. So to be very, very clear. Okay. So that means that we need to organize ourselves. We need to really like provide a better communication strategy. All right. So these are different structure of pitches, no changes, basic rule of thumb. So I mentioned about the elevator pitch. So the elevator pitch is commonly used in the startup community because, yeah, so a lot of investors have really limited time, as I've discussed earlier. And then you're trying to imagine yourself riding an elevator from the ground floor going up. You're together with an investor, and all you have to do is like, oh, maybe in just less than a minute, the investor will reach his floor. No, if he's leading or if he's living in the topmost, like in the 30th floor, so you'll have enough time to discuss your business idea. But then you have only like limited floors, 10 floors only, and then of course how many seconds that it will take, so less than a minute, of course. So that means that that's the only time that you'll be able to pitch your business idea. That's why it's fast, right? So the objective of the elevator pitch is that it allows you to open up your business idea, but then you're kind of hoping that after having that elevator pitch, you will have a succeeding meeting with that investor. Now, if he gets interested with your business idea, all right? So if not, that's the problem. So meaning to say, we always have to prepare when we are a startup. In the future, if you will be having your own startup, you need to be prepared all the time when your objective is to like introduce your company, no? So to that kind of situation. So video pitch, when you prepare 2 to 3 minutes, then the startup pitch. So this is where we are in actually. No? So we need to prepare 2 to 5 minutes, no, of presentation. So basically, if you can memorize it in your head, that's better. Now we are actually advised, no, to kind of prepare. No? So prepare ourselves to, even if you prepared the presentation 10 slides, but you should be able to like prepare yourselves to organize your thoughts, that when you pitch, you don't really need at all the PowerPoint. No, it's just there to provide a visual guide to those who are listening, and you can freely articulate the content of your presentation with those thoughts that you have already arranged in your mind. And investor presentation pitch takes longer, 10 to 15 minutes. The reason why is that the investors need to really see from your presentation. Usually those investors are looking for the traction of your company. They will, because they will be putting in a lot of money, then they need to understand how much or what is the current progress financials of your, so it's not for startup. It means for big or for companies that have traction already. So they moved already from the startup phase. They are now into they are now a startup that has traction. They have income. They've already established rightfully their company, and they have already scaled up. They're not a small company anymore that is based only in Butuan City, but they may have businesses already in other parts of the country, like in Cebu City, Davao City to Metro Manila. So they're scaling up, and now they're looking for funding to expand their business to all of the cities in the Philippines. That's why that is very important to present. No? So do they have income in this particular city? What is their traction? Are they doing okay? So the investors now would look into the portfolio of this startup with traction now. Is this startup really prepared? Are they being managed by the team or group of people who are really competent enough to scale up their business idea? So it's a bit bigger because it's not like part of, for example, a startup pitching competition. So just like 5 minutes, everybody will be given 5 minutes during the day. So investor presentation pitch might be like arranged in advance that you will go to this head office. You go to, for example, the Ayala office, and you will pitch there. And even with that, it will not be even. It will not even finish for 10 to 15 minutes. For example. So just an example now for us, we did a pitching with the Butuan City LGU. So we were looking for around 9 million for the service that we are trying to offer them, the MapX. And it did not even finish just like 10 minutes during the presentation, 15 minutes, and 30 minutes later, we're still trying to discuss everything through the Q&A. 1 hour after, and then finally Mayor Lagdada said, okay, we'll close this deal. So that's how it takes. No? So if the other party is interested, so they will be asking a lot of questions to make sure that everything is covered there. No? So their money that they're gonna put in you will not be wasted. No? So they will not be wasted. That means that this is the right thing for the other party. They will be saying to themselves, this is the right thing for us to do. We're gonna invest because this is the way to go, for example. Okay, sorry about that. So story, why are we doing this? So why are you doing this? We need to develop a very good story. Okay, so why do we need to put a story? Because we want to establish an emotional connection with our viewers. So the question would be, why do we need to pay attention to you? So why do we need to pay attention? Okay, so when you present that, usually when you tell stories, actually I remember during our LIF in London, UK, our professor would always say, I will kick your butt when you introduce your name first. So that's a big no. So do not introduce yourself as a starting point of your pitch. Try to develop a scene that your audience or the panel will kind of listen to you when you try to develop a story. So what is the story that we are trying to build here? Okay, so maybe the problem that you are trying to highlight is that there are so many, for example, there are so many PWDs in the country today, and they need help, and then a lot of them are on the streets. They don't have a place to go. They sleep everywhere. So things like that. So when you open things like that, it gets more interested because that's a situation in reality that you are trying to impart or to say to the panel. So when you open things like that, the hope is that you will be able to get the attention of those people because you're telling a story that, or you're telling a situation wherein in reality that is really happening. So when you say 1 million people with disabilities have difficulty finding homes, finding food to eat on a daily basis. So things like that, like when you say 1 million, that's a very big problem because the population is 1 million, right? So how is this even happening that 1 million of PWDs are there on the streets, asking for money just to kind of feed themselves? So maybe the story that you are trying to frame in your presentation, because your solution is actually related to this, trying to solve the PWD problems. It's like your enterprise is social enterprise. You are trying to be socially responsible now, but you are also doing your own business. Okay, so that is social entrepreneurship. Now, so create a sense of mystery. Why you're qualified? What are your superpowers? So it kind of, in the number 3, it kind of you framing the problem early on at the very start. So you're trying to provide a context, a purpose, and context. So in terms of this is really a problem. Trying to the audience, trying to those people who are listening, that this is really a big problem. So, for example, other situations can arise from the perspective of the farmers. Like every year, like we start. So, let's go back to that slide. No? So, for example, we are showing here a PWD, but we try to reframe this story. That, like, for example, we are presenting a farmer, a very poor farmer, no? And then I think many of us can relate, no, to a very poor farmer, doesn't have income, low income, no, because of so many problems. So you can kind of replace their persona, no. So remember, we have before a persona, no. So we kind of replace this a persona who is farmer having difficulty, for example, planting rice because the labor is really tough, and then they're still using the manual machine. So that's how you kind of start your pitching or your presentation, no? Because you're trying to frame that your solution is basically related to how to make the farmers' lives better, no, with your solution. I hope you're following that, no? So you're trying to build a situation wherein you're showing a farmer who has very difficulty planting rice under the heat of the sun, and showing a mechanical piece of planting mechanism, no? So very manually labored process. So because you're trying to show that in first, because your solution is related to that. That means that you are trying to automate the planting process, no, for the farmers, and it will kind of improve their situation at the end of it. All right. So ingon ana siya, no? So meaning, so say we're trying to frame our problem and relate this to the potential solutions that we have. Are we following? I hope we're following, no? So the other question is, that is really a problem. So meaning to say, we need to emphasize really that is a problem. So, and now, what is the size of that and what is the impact? Now, so how big is the problem? Is the problem pretty well like focus only in one particular barangay, or many of the farmers experience this on a daily basis? So if this happens, that all of the farmers face this, that is really a big problem. That means that many people can relate to. That's big, no? Because we're not talking about just from Butuan City, farmers from Butuan City. We're talking of all the farmers in the country today, and even those countries in Malaysia, in Thailand, Indonesia, even in China, who are doing this kind of thing. Now, so meaning to say, the scale of this problem is big, that when you provide a solution, there is, of course, a definite impact to this solution. All right? So we focus on the problem that we are trying to solve. So we need to also describe it in a way that it's easy for our panel members to understand them. So that's why we use easy words, and we need to be very concise about it. Right? Now, we need to also, in number two, explain the current solution. There is always one. So it's not that you're the first one to attempt it. So it will not be like that. And I think there are even previous solutions to that. And then kind of provide that so that you can also set the stage for why we need a better answer. Now, so for example, going back to the farmer, no? So what you were trying to discuss is that there is this specific solution that supposedly help the farmers in planting the rice. But unfortunately, it's still not automated. It's still like the manual type of labor, and that still the farmers would not improve the way of planting. So kind of you provide that story background in terms of the present solution. Okay. So quantify the impact, be as specific as you can. Talk about impact in numbers if possible. So that means that you have an initial idea in terms of how many people will be impacted with this business idea, with these solutions that you are having. So if we are technology based, so related to farming, for example, to automate the farming process, So that means that you know how many farmers do we have. So we need to know how many farmers do we have. If the farmers will be able to access this device or machines that we are trying to develop, there's a number of tens of millions of people or farmers in the Philippines who will be able to benefit. So that's the number that we are trying to look into. Okay. So what is our solution then? Class, notice now in the right part, top right now portion of our slides, there is a number. So that means that that is the slide, also the slide number that you can include. No? So slide number 3. So you might want to discuss now the solution, because in number 2 we're trying to discuss about the problem. Number 1 we're trying to tell a story. So we go back to number 2, and then in number 3, so what is now our solution? Because we know already, we discussed the story of the problem. We discussed about the problem in itself in detail, and then the current solution, but it is not enough. Now we are trying to provide the solution so that we are even superior with the existing solution, and we're trying to provide a better solution to our customers. All right, so let's go to the next slide. No, so what's your product or solution? So still, when we discuss about the problem, we need to like provide it in simple terms. And also here in the solution, we don't have to even to be technical, because there might be people in the panel that are not technically inclined. No? They're not engineers. They have the money. They are people from the banks that will be listening to our pitch. And then if you provide them technical jargons, then they will be lost in the conversation. Then they need to understand. No? So the presentation, so this is not an English words competition. This is about pitching our business idea or the solutions that we are trying to offer, not to the problems that we are trying to highlight. Now, in this slide also, we need to provide a idea to the listeners that why our solution is better with the existing solution. No? So explain and show what it can do. Explain your how. That means that how can this be better compared to the existing, right? And then we should be able to quantify the benefits now if we can. So we go back to the value proposition now. Would this provide better service? Would this provide lesser cost to the farmers? Would this increase productivity? So things like that. So that's why the very heart of the business idea is the value proposition. So that's what we want to like highlight. No, because we know that there are already existing solutions out there, but we need to highlight why we want to still introduce a new kind of solution. All right. So now you're trying to highlight also the value proposition, but there is a specific slide now for the. It's just that you are trying to present your business idea or the problem that or the solution of the problem that is better, way better than the existing. Okay. Now, so you see it's 3 and then 3.5 because this is related now the value proposition. So meaning to say you can add another slide that will highlight what is really your value. No? So why is your solution? You can expound on this item that why is this solution better than the competition? Okay. So alternatives the customers have. Is this the problem being addressed now, or how is the problem being addressed now? So this kind of things that you can expound on. No? All right. So what will motivate someone to engage? No? So these are the questions that you will kind of think in a way, what are the most important things to be included here? Okay. Okay. Value proposition. I think we have lengthy discussion about this now, and I hope you remember all those things. So included here in 3.5. So when we say our business or the solution that we have is better, because in the first place, we have a validated technical solution that is now granted, for example, if you have patent. So did you apply for patent? No, because you believe that this is novel and an inventive solution. So if you watch the video that I requested you to watch, So that will explain everything. No, that if you have a patent, then you have exclusivity of the market. You will gain competitive advantage, no, of the kind of solutions that you have. So if you have an IP, why is it different? So you discuss about this. And basically, if this is an engineering solution, if you have an engineering solution, basically, this is an added advantage. And many investors would really ask about, do you have an IP for this? So do you have a freedom to operate? That means that you are free to like sell this product in the market. Remember that in the video about intellectual property, if there is a solution already, and then you're introducing the same solution to the market, and that opposing solution has its IP already or patent, you will not be able to sell your product, no, because there is already a product existing out there that has a patent or intellectual property. So you will not be able to compete. No, so you need to understand this. So you will not be able to do that. That's why we always ask engineers, engineering students, to check for novelty, inventiveness, and we will really have to apply for patent if this technology is really novel and it's really inventive. No, so that's the thing. So that means that only if you have patent, if you have IP, intellectual properties, you will not worry about market competition. So class, you will be worried if there is a competition and the competition has the same product that you have. That means that nauna sila. They were the ones first in the market, and you introduce the same technology, then you will not be able to do that. That's why if they have a patent or IP, most especially, then you will really have difficulty introducing your product to the market. All right. So you need to really clarify your position on that. So that's why IP or patent is very important in commerce. Okay. So if you don't have an IP yet, because you are only still working a business idea, so you have to present to the panel that I've done some patent search, I've done some study, I was looking at the patent database, I was looking at Google, and then I didn't find any similar technologies that is available out there in the market. So I believe now when I launch this product, I will be applying for patent. If we'll be able to develop this technology, I will be able to apply for patent, and I have confidence that it may be able to be granted with a patent because this is not yet in the market today. All right, slide number 4. So business model, how are we going to make money? All right, so we talk about this also. That's why I repeat again, class notes. So we're just trying to put all things together from our discussion. So this is just trying to establish the summary of the things that we have discussed. All right, so how will you make money? Are we going to license sales, services, product sales? If we have this product, for example, are you going to have it by subscription or one-time sale? All right. So if subscription, you know, the Netflix, right? So we should be able to discuss here. Now, so for example, this is also our thing. No, when we pitched to the LGU, Butuan LGU, when we closed the deal for 6.5 million. So basically, we said this is the amount. This is the amount that we need from you guys for the first year, and then for the second year, it will be a different arrangement because we have different, like the business model is like subscription based. They need to pay one-time payment and then subscription, yearly subscription. Okay, because we're looking at the ICT based that we have, the system. So that's one thing that you need to think about, how you're gonna make money. So for those customers. So even the panel will really ask you, di ba we talk about kinsa gid atong customers. We really talk about lengthy here because I wanted to really make sure that you understand your business idea, for you guys to identify who is really your customer. No, because even those panel members, they will say who is really your customer, the target market. So I think we're gonna open it up here also as well. So if that is number 4, so you have your business model canvas, di ba? You have your business model canvas. And then in your business model canvas, you try to figure out what you need to like identify there. No, how do you make money? Tapos in number 5, so how do you plan to go to market? What is your strategy? No, so for example, for us, sa MapX, so our go-to strategy is really go-to-market strategy is really to engage the LGU. No, so what we did before was that there was this orientation meetings with the members of the LGU, the assessor's office, to make sure that they understand pretty well the product that we are trying to develop, and verify and validate to them that they really like understand what we're trying to do for them. And for us also, to confirm that they also kind of understand or like this. So that's the thing, no? So there are, for example, go to market, like the strategy is like, are you gonna open for are you for the, if you're an e-commerce, no, that's why you ask ourselves, of course Lazada and Shopee are there, no? So things like that, no? So for example, dito telecommunity right now, you can only buy SIMs through Shopee because that is their parang strategy, not to sell it to openly to the public. And then that's one. The other one is they open actually stores, no, for SM, Ayala, so big stores. So that is their strategy. So there are some questions also there here that you need to like answer. How will you convert those leads to customers? Okay, so how will you generate a consistent, first question first, how will you generate a consistent stream of incoming leads? Okay, so that's why a lot of companies right now take advantage, no longer, like for example, EBCBN is no longer right there, no? So a lot of companies now go to Facebook, go to YouTube, go to where people are in the Philippines, and most of us are in the in the Facebook, right, in YouTube. That's why the advertisers, the target market strategy of those advertisers, they develop contents that they can showcase in YouTube. That's why the ads, there are so many ads in YouTube, right? And then you go to Facebook, and then Facebook, there's so many advertisement as well there, because they want to like introduce the products to the Facebook. And you know, even the video that I let you watch, hopefully guys, you watch that. No, I can only refer to you videos, I can only refer to you ideas, but then at the end of the day, it's only still up to you not to take care of it or to get it. So remember the startup idea that I introduced you to the YouTube. No? So I shared that on the link before and I discussed it. The business idea is an Indian, he's from India, right? His parents was from India, and then he was growing up in the US, diba? So his business was about the fruits, no, the fruits or vegetables that are not really saleable to the big markets. So the biggest in that particular business, the biggest amount he was spending is actually basically on the advertisements. So that's why he maxed out all his credit cards. You remember that? So he was trying to get money out of the credit card. So basically that's what he did. No? So max out because he was spending a lot of money in terms of promoting email. He was trying to send thousands of emails to people to kind of try, you know, the misfits, diba? Misfits, diba? No, so that is how his strategy was to go about, like penetrating the market, sending emails if they're interested with this less beautiful vegetables now out from the farmers that in the US. And he was able to do that. No, his business has really grow, and then he's now from the different states in the US. No, so it's big. He has a big market already. So we started out as like really sending all the emails. That was what he strategized before. You know? So, and then there's this other thing that what will these customers like would always repeat. No? So they will have to repeat, not to repeat. Okay, repeat buying from you. Okay, question number 3 is, what are your customer acquisition costs in terms of financial cost and time? So basically, this was a question to me before, no, and I didn't really understand this as well. But a lot of people really allocate a lot of money in terms of customer acquisition. That means that you need a lot of money to get a customer. So before, there are so many subsidies. No, so just an example of Food Panda. When Food Panda started here, what did they do? So they did the unthinkable part. If you look at it, they were offering free delivery all the time for the first month, I think. So that was their go-to like strategy, market strategy. They were offering free delivery. So people would really test the gadget, because at that also time we are on the pandemic, and then there's this platform that offers free delivery. So basically, Food Panda was trying to shoulder all the costs. Of course, those tricycle drivers, they deliver food, but they expect money, from the Food Panda to deliver those food, diba? So it's not for free basically, but Food Panda, I mean, shouldered all the costs with that. Now, so if you are saying about 30 pesos per delivery, actually they're paying that to the Food Panda drivers, not tricycle drivers. Meaning to say, they're shouldering the cost, not just to get the customers. Do you understand that? So basically, that's how many startups also do. No, they need money so that they can do that. No? So to test the product, all right, to test the product and then validate na kung naabagi dagang customers nga who would be willing to buy it. Okay, so that is your customer acquisition cost. So if Food Panda is a big company, because they've grown already, but they were able to do that now because they know that in the end. So right now there is no free delivery anymore. You have to pay 49 pesos, 50 pesos. How much, Gian? So you have delivery fee, right? So 49 pesos or 25. There are stores that shoulder 25 pesos. No? So there's no free delivery because people are used to ordering already. But before, they tried to do that through the customer acquisition costs. So I hope you understand that. So even Netflix before, now when you subscribe to Netflix, for the first 6 months, you're free. But you have to pay for the rest of the year for the 6 months. So when you apply for Netflix, you still have to enter the amount of credit, the number of your credit card, and all those details that you need to provide. But they will offer you free 6 months, and then 6 months thereafter, you'll be paying already. But that is already charged. So they're trying to shoulder the cost just to get the customers trying your product. Okay? So that's customer acquisition cost and the strategy. So that is marketing strategy class. So for you to really hook up in the product. Okay? So traction, what have you accomplished so far? So if you have a business idea now, so what is your traction? Can anybody know what is traction here? Huh? Do you know what traction is? Anybody can give some comments on traction? Are you still there? Are you all still awake? Yes? Anybody? Okay. Are you still here? Can you type yes on the chat box? So head count.
Yes, sir.
It's Amando. Yes po, Arabel, Lord. Yes, Chris. You're still here, everybody. Jerome. Okay. Okay, basin og kanang gi-on lang ang Zoom and then nagtanaw TV. Sayang akong oras mga dong, mga day. Okay. So, thank you for responding, guys. Okay, I just have to check. Okay, basig wala na mo diha. Then, sayang, sayang. So, I will not be your professors all the time. So, I will not be teaching all the time this, this topic as well. All right, thank you guys for responding, for confirming. So, traction. Still on slide 6 now. So, This is very important if you're pitching for startup pitch and then the investor's pitch. So do you have now, so what have you accomplished so far? Now for you guys, you have business idea. Do you even have a prototype already? No, so that would be your traction. No, so do you have your prototype? Nana ba mo yung prototype? No, nana ba mo yung kanang minimum viable product? Nana ba mo yung nana? Or are you stick with simply just a business idea still, no, for the last 3 months, 2 months? So basically, for startups, this is very important, no, for big or for startups with seeking for bigger funding. No, for example, they have been granted with patents already. They have awards received because their awards are helping the farmers. Do you receive already recognition from the DTI, the UST, or from many other institutions because they're trying to help people, no, with your business? So, okay. So what objective third-party evidence do you have around your product, your market? Has someone bought this? Who, what? So do you have already a customer? That's more important question. No? So if you have traction, basically, do you have paying customers already? No? So you need to highlight this when you pitch as well. So that's the only time that the panel who have money, members of the panel who have money will kind of be very interested to also put in money because somebody already like believe in your product that that is actually okay, no? So and then a lot of investors would also like invest if they know that, for example, an investor A, investor B, investor C already invested in your startup. So it will follow, no? So things like that. Okay. So I think I mentioned this. Have you made a prototype already or tested your product in the market? So be specific with any validation achieved. So yeah, like you can highlight this that like 50 out of 60 people believe that this product will actually work and they are willing to buy, they're willing to purchase if we are already developed the prototype or we have launched the market already. So things like that you can mention. You know? Because these are very important things. Okay. We go to, okay, team. Right. Your team, guys. All right. So your team, who are the members of your team? What do we need to include in our next slide? Number 7, the team offers credibility to the plans presented, proof that you can deliver on the promise. Remember, guys, I told you before that there was a team, they have this business idea or they have this solution or idea actually, basically, and then the problem is that not one of the team is an electronics engineer. So they were trying to build an electronics based solution, technology solution, but then all of them are not ECE. They're all BSIT, for example. Okay, so that's a challenge really. So we have to make sure that so that's why the panel will look into, are you guys believable? No, so do you have the credibility to be able to develop this business idea? So your questions, your answers to this slide is for you to convince the people who are listening that you can truly deliver on this business idea or solutions, no, or technology that will solve problems. So why would they believe in you? So what are the things that they need to know from you guys as the team members or the team for them to understand and believe that you will be able to do this? All right? Okay. So cover map members to the key activities for the business or how they're connected to the industry. Okay. Mention any specific expertise, accomplishment. Are you a serial entrepreneur, patent holder, etc., etc.? So what have you done or accomplished so far? So if you guys have ongoing business right now because of the pandemic, you can actually highlight that, no? So you can include that. I understand there were some students before or during the semester asking me, so they're already starting, they're doing business, and they're having income already. So mga racket-racket, no? Mga sideline. So those things you can include and highlight in your presentation. You can highlight those in the presentation. No? So meaning to say you've done that, been there before, and you know things that you can work this out because I have a business already that I was able to like really grow already. No? Imo na siyang na kanan ba? Okay? All right. So goal is to build trust, all right? When you present the team, that means that you are trying to showcase you as a person who as an entrepreneur, as a member of the team that really can be entrusted. Like for example, if you are an ICT team, you're trying to be a technology-based team, an ICT, you're trying to develop a software. Of course, there will be like a chief technology officer that knows everything, the ins and out of the ICT, right? So basically, in our MapX, I'm not the CTO, no? So I'm on the business development. No? So in terms of business model, that's where I'm coming in. In terms of working, in terms of external affairs, no? Like talking to people, like lawyers, different kinds of lawyers out there. So that's my role in the team. No? So business development and tapos sa ECC, no? Business and marketing. Roland Dagil is part of the ICT. He knows the ins and out of the ICT. Then business. So those are two major things that you need. And then there's this other person who is responsible for geodetic engineering or GIS. Now, so we kind of mix, we are different, we came from a different background, but we bring something to the table. So the sad thing is that if you have a team member that doesn't have anything that can offer to the table, so we need to be able to really put forward or put premium to those people who have something to contribute to the team. But in your case right now, you should be able to like assign people. This is the guy that will be responsible for programming. So in Transic before, I don't know if you know the guys, no, but Angelito is like the business development. No, he's really good talking to people. He's really good in terms of like establishing rapport, establishing relationship outside of the university. Although he was still a student by then, but he was talking to people already outside the university, trying to like establish, build on, talk to like the LGU. No, so he's really good. No, so he's really good. I really like he has the aggressiveness. No, so those guys are really doing good. No, so in the Transic before. And then there's another guy who is really the BSIT computer science that is really good in terms of programming. So that was his responsible. He was the first guy to develop a mobile app. No? So in I think in CSU and those students who were under the TBI and the Navigato before, they're really good. So two of those guys are responsible for the coding development. And then you have this guy, Angelito, is leading the team. And he is responsible for like going outside, trying to sell the company, looking for investors. And to think that he was still a student, that was really impressive. No, he was like around fourth year already. Then, of course, in the startup scene before, and even right now, no, so we're trying to, as Navigatos, as a TBI, so we sent out, even he was selected, si Angelito, to be sent out to Singapore, not to pitch about Transic, and he was one of the, I think, three startups that went to Singapore to kind of pitch no. So we kind of enabled this, no, to the environment for the students. He was given an opportunity. And then another team is the Agricultura, and the guy, the I don't know, sa ila tong team leader nila. Actually, it's a very difficult situation also because they started 3 and then slowly there were 2 and then 1, and then he was trying to develop a team, but we also sent him to the Asian Business Incubator Conference. Although that was in Manila, we were host then. The UST also sent them there for free. Everything is for free. No? So when they went to Singapore and Manila, everything, all of the cost was covered. No? So This is also the same thing that we want to happen with you guys. If we see that you are kind of ready not to like go for pitching events, if you see that way that you're already really serious about this, then what we do usually in Navigato and TBI is to really endorse you guys to the ST. But basically, we don't endorse a team when we also, for us, we feel that you guys are not ready. So we need to see that also for yourself. So basically, we send out student teams outside if we think we are confident already and we've seen from students know that they are really trying hard, doing their part to really build their own startups. Okay. So this is more on the details about being very specific about um, being a CEO of the company. So this is more in the experience side. For example, for us, so for example, we say we are now like 15 years in the ICT, trying to build systems. So what we can do is claim about that. So and we have like copyrights about we have copyrights of the system that we have. We have applied for trademark as well. So things like that. So what we can do highlight. So it kind of build over the years. But for you guys, I think for me, so you're lucky because what we're trying now is discuss about this. So you have plenty of time ahead of you to build on this if you're really serious about becoming a technopreneur. So it's a matter of decision making as well. So I don't know, guys, if you know Kier Gumanet. Kier Gumanet is, I was chatting with him. He was employed in one of the big semiconductor companies in Maxim Incorporated in Cavite, Laguna. And I was trying to discuss with him how we want to do industry partnership because we want to like send students there for OGT in the future and faculty immersion. And I was surprised. He said to me that, sir, I'm no longer connected with Maxim Incorporated, Maxim Philippines. So what happened to you? So I'm starting my own business. I am running a business of my own. And then I was so happy to hear that I was not expecting it to be very early. So I think here has been working with Maxim for the last 3 years now after graduating, 3-4 years. So when he said that, he's like wow, this is really amazing, because even at that time we were not even teaching them yet about technopreneurship. When did we start technopreneurship? We just started around 2018, 2019. And for us to, that's the first phase. So we try to build the Navigato and so on and so forth. And then seeing and hearing that we have students like this already. So and then there was this one. So it's kind of influences. There's this also team in CSO right now, the Burfab. They're also ECE. Then they went to the market, to the industry. They worked there also in Maxim and the other guys from other company. And now they're trying to run their own company as well. And they're earning money as well. So Burfab. And I think their batch is around 2018 to 2019. So I think sila ni Kier gyapon ng mga batchmates. So basically, that's how the story. So I do not discount that. Perhaps there will be somebody from you. So our role in the TBI, in the Technology Business Incubator, really to help guide students and even the alumni or graduates to enable them to have better business. So we can kind of allow them to help them out in terms of business. So we're trying to make partnerships so that they can get fund as well. Because startups right now, the UST really is looking for good startups that they can provide money. The government has money. The problem is there's not enough good startups to be funded with or for. So for us guys, we need to really, that's why in the pitching event, you will be challenged with the panel. The objective is really to improve the business idea. It's not about like criticizing you. It's not about like finding mistakes, not about really looking for loopholes and things like that. Because at the end of the day, if you're really interested about business, those members of the panel will really look into the situation or in providing you a better kumbaga, to build your business idea better. No? So things like that. So basically that's our goal no here. And then okay, my internet connection is unstable. All right. So team is 3 co-founders, academically acclaimed in the field with 40 years. So basically this is that the one that they use, no? So that particular team will say our team of 3 co-founders is academically acclaimed in the field with 40 plus years of combined experience and a track record of delivering and real products and impact. So that's how they kind of deliver this phrase, no, before the panel. But of course, this is easier than said than done, no? But because if you have a panel that's coming from different backgrounds, you'll be tense as well, no? So it will not be perfect. But when you are prepared, no, to kind of write this, then somehow you commit less mistakes. So you can use this time of summary, team, explanation if time is very short and you can't go to individual details. No? So this is kind of like try to summarize everything. So the ask what we need help. No? So this is one that I hope you can still hear me. No? So this is one very important thing in terms of asking what you really want, no, from the members of the panel. So after the pitch, the audience should know why did you make this speech. So what specifically do you want help with? So from the members of panel. So you make a clear ask to the end of your pitch. So maybe you have the examples here. So if you ask for investment, you really need to know how much do you need. So your business idea, how much do you really need and what for? Okay, so you have to be very specific. So say I need 100,000 pesos because I want to develop the prototype. I need money to develop my prototype. I have a very good business idea, but then if you don't have money to develop this prototype, I've already asked my parents to provide funding, my relatives. I'm still short of the money that I need. I need more funding because my technology is worth or needs 100,000 pesos to develop the prototype. So things like that, you can freely say that. So if you need customers, what kind? Be specific and remind us. Meaning to say you're pitching to find customers. All right. So distribution partners, where? So if you're pitching for, like, for example, you have a market already existing here in the Philippines and you're pitching abroad because you want to penetrate the Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia market. So you're looking for business partners to take you in, right? So you're looking for people in Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore that are willing to take advantage of this because this is potential business. So kinsa man sila. So what kind of specific field? Advisors, what background and what goal? So who are the advisors that you're looking for? So what kind of advisors? Do you need technical advisors? Do you need the business advisor that who can help you build better your business model? No, so marketing guru, so things like that. So if all of the above, if all of the above, no, so that's very challenging to answer, no, for the panel or for the investor or those people listening to you whom you pitch. So you need to be specific on what major problems you are trying or major ask that you are trying to ask or beg for from those in the panel. Okay. Right. So optional slides if you have still the time, and they're very important. So for example, if you still have time, no, when you discuss them, you need to understand your competition and who else is doing this. So meaning to say you will be able to look into like graph, no. So basically, just an example, no. If you want to engage in food delivery, you know the competition already exists. Like there's Grab Food, there is for example, Grab Food and Food Panda. So where are you there? So again, you go back to in terms of the position, you can like create a graph. Now I've seen this before. You can create a graph in terms of cost, in terms of what other functions that you can build, no, in terms of developing Grab. Asa man ang Food Panda dito, asa man ang tawag gani ang Grab Food. And you need to be able to define adri ka. Kaya mas better ka in terms of cost or mas better ba ka sa delivery time, no? For example, ana. So remember before ang pizza, di ba? Sa pizza sa una, sa Pizza Hut, okay, we will deliver your food by 30 minutes. If it's late, then you get the pizza for free. So there are deals with that. So financials proof of my business model works. Yes, of course, if you are in the traction already. Again, unique advantage dito na may secret. So typically, we always highlight this into the value proposition slides. No? So why our product is better than the rest of the competition. So basically, we need to understand the target market size and the strategy that we have. So target market, the size of the target market that we are looking at. No, so pila man day kabuk tao ang kuan ani no na that the potential customers that you have. I mentioned this before. No, or target market in MapX is LGUs. No, so as case study, LGUs. How many LGUs are there in the Philippines? That's the number that you have. Now the question is how much LGUs who can actually pay. No, so for example, our team already discussed to Surigao del Norte, and the problem is they don't have money to pay. So meaning to say, what kind of business strategy that you can like really develop such that they will be able to pay you. No, so for example, number one, the strategy is to like have a partnership with the mining companies, the industry, with the LGU or the Surigao del Norte province, that will like the industry, the mining companies will pay for that particular service that we are trying to offer for the LGU. No, so pwede siya, no? So those are kind of the strategy. But you'll be able to build that, right? But our strategy in the business, like for example, MapX. So I said to Rolin that of course we need to go to the cities or the LGU that who have money and are willing to pay us, no? So kinsa man sila nga mga LGUs nga na money and willing to pay us. So basically those are the big cities now. So Butuan City, and then I thought about let's go to Tagum City and Davao City because those are the big cities that have money. And then we go to General Santos City. So before we scale up, we grow big because we know that other cities cannot pay us. So that's why we strategize. No, kinsa ning mga big market, no? The market na, of course, you know, there are so many LGUs, right? But you have to identify who are these LGUs that are willing to pay for your service, for your innovation. Okay? So that is the strategy. All right, I think that's it. That's the last slide that I have. So I'm open now for questions from the floor. All right. Do you have questions, guys? Okay, you might want to open your video if you have. Right. We still have 15 minutes. Do you have questions from the floor? Okay, are you asleep now? But I thought that it's still early for you guys. No? So usually, pag nasa balay, you always sleep late. Yes, Chris. Jasmine.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Magas lang tanong ko, sir, ba about sa kaning among iano na business or kaning business venture. Kanang kailangan ba kanang dapat maano jud siya? Kanang mabuhat, mahimo gid namo ni siya like karon siya nga SEM or unsa ba? Pwede ra ba like madugay-dugay siya kay mag-take mo gud siya time jud?
All right.
Kato lang, sir.
Yeah,
Mo na
so
ginamong kalibugan.
yeah, so right now, basically the expectation is that you still only have the business idea. No, so I don't expect that depende no, sa depende sa kuan no. So katong mga who are ahead of you or who are trying to develop it, kung nanay minimum viable product, nakahimo na ba? But basically, what we're trying to do here is to like open your business idea. No, the idea first. No? So that's right, Chris. Just mean you'll not be able to do it right now. So that means that what you are going to present is the business idea. But I guess the advantage would be on those teams that have kind of like they've already started something, right? But basically right now, it's simply the business idea. If you have prototype that you can show that this is like carton box, kung something like that, then that's all right. No? So, yung una lang siya. So basically, it's just simply to start with the idea. But with the idea is you try to also understand, for example, we talk about market. No? So it's not that you have developed it already, the product, but you are trying to understand already the market. You're trying to understand who are your customers. You are already, based on our classroom discussion before, my expectation is that you are able to identify who really your customers are. And when you identify who really your customers are, you are able now to build the market size, no, to potential market size. All right. So so this is like a market study also. No, you need to conduct kind of a market study because that's how you determine the customers, di ba? Yung customers ninyo.
Okay lang ba if up ang amo ang ano sir? Startup?
Yeah, so it's okay to have a mobile app, no? So basically, for example, right now, no, so there are students who are working with electronic projects, but at the same time they need a mobile app to really like configure. For example, now I have a iRobot at home, no? So it can be the mobile app can be a solution, no? So it's just that medyo challenging sa, no, because we know for a fact there are so many mobile apps right there. Now you just have to present why your mobile apps is better to the other existing mobile apps.
Okay sir, thank you sir. Kulbaan magud mi kay bas hindi na mo siya mabuhat.
For example, Chris, are you an ECE or you're ECE, right?
ECE sir.
Yeah, so usually expectations sa ECE kay ingananin, no, so maayo ta sa electronics hardware and then at the same time maayo po tag programming. So there are students before nga ECE put sila when they graduate, actually their projects was they were able to develop a gadget, no, and then they were also at the same time able to develop a mobile app. So there's a hardware and then there's mobile app. So like for example kaning iRobot na mo, no, na ay vacuum cleaner nga autonomous, so nya you can monitor or control the vacuum cleaner sa mobile app. So ingana, no, sa nay hardware and software nga component.
Ay connected ra gyapon sir. Thank you kay sir.
Sure.
Ay na po nag-ask mo day sir kanang about sa written exam is napaba daw written exam.
Yes, there is a written exam pa because we have covered also some discussions, no, and we are required by the college really to have a I will ask that and confirm, no, but then the expectation of the college we are being monitored, no, so it's pangayoan mo gud mi og kanang mga unsa pa ni ay kanang unsay gipanghatag na mong exam na yung ana, and then we are trying to comply. But if I will be the one that kung ako'y pabuton, the pitching should be for me, no, that would already serve, no, so basically that would capture for me, that would capture everything what you've learned from our class discussions from the very beginning to the final pitching event. So through the PowerPoint that you'll be sharing, kay mailan man na siya you've gotten something from the discussions we have before, like for example sa business model, sa value proposition, and then ingana, no, so and then in terms of the prototype, usually the expectation of the prototype you can draw lang, no, unsa gini prototype niyo sa inyong mobile apps, unsa man day makita-an ng sa inyong mobile apps. You're trying to propose a mobile apps, but then you don't really need to have a mobile app na develop, no, nga naa na ron sa cellphone. But at least man lang naamoy drawing baron niya if ngani ang naong sa mobile app, ngani pag-design, so this is something different from, for example, Food Panda, from Grab, no? So at least man lang sa inyong level, naamoy mapakita nga this is the design, no, of the mobile app, no? So sa maybe sa tanan, no, so this is the design of, or the design of the prototype, siguro din na nga part, no, if you are not able to build yet the prototype.
Thank you, sir.
Sure, you're welcome. I think the question for you guys is when mo mag-pitch. So the remaining schedules that you have basically is Friday, Thursday, and Monday. Last na ng Monday. So if you will be pitching on Monday, because I have to select the top 5 and then endorse it for once. Of course, there will be perks, no, or incentives for those top 5 na ma-select that will be joining the national or the CSU wide event. So maro man ako mahatag, no? So of course you will be pitching for another day. So there will be incentives for that. So 5-minute pitch, that's the no? And then I might not be able to ask you a lot of questions because there are like around 15 teams from you guys. 5 minutes, so that's already like around 75 minutes. No? So if you're gonna do it on Monday next week, for you to have enough time, I can do that on Monday na. But you should be able to really like cover everything because I will not be coaching you anymore. Okay. So on Thursday, what I can do on Thursday is that if you need coaching, like if you're prepared already with your PowerPoint slides, I can kind of have a one-on-one, no, with the teams. Pero mag-decking lang ta. Kinsay mauna, no, sa Thursday, that would be on Thursday. So medyo initial coaching, no, from me.
Bali magpa-consult rami sa mo, sir.
Right.
Kung tama ba mong gibuhat.
Yes, pwede po, no. So basically, there's no Chris just to highlight, no, there's nothing wrong this right and wrong, no. It's just that we need to improve with what we have, no, based on the discussion. So pwede na to yung buhaton na to on Thursday. So team by team. So meaning to say, we need to schedule everybody kinsay mo unag sulod, team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So after this, after our class, I would like to ask everybody para sa decking sa Thursday, mag-confirm, no, sa chat, via chat, no, kinsay willing to do that on Thursday for consultation. So kung kinsay mauna og sir magpa-kuan me, so you will be decked 9:30, for example on Thursday, no, so 9 to 9:05 or 9:10. So I will be decking you guys. All right. Okay. There's a chat here. Question, sir, how are we doing to take stand to our credibility, making a goal to which is to build trust? So basically right now, so what I was imparting, you know, basically that's a pitching presentation that is for you guys who will be ready now for the next so basically, for example, when you apply for work, so imagine yourself when you apply for work now, if you're already graduated, so think about the things that you want to say to the HR officer of a company. So what do you want to say to the HR officer, that the one interviewing you, convincing him that you should be the one that the company should hire? How are you going to do that? So what are you gonna say? So so kana nga part, no? So that's something coming from you. All right? So you don't have business experience yet, no, because you're not pitching for attraction. So basically, what are the qualities that you have, no, that the panel would understand, well, for example, no, so the answer to the HR officer is that I have a very clean grades. I don't have a failing grade. I work my butt off, no, to achieve and graduate from the BSSC program straight for 5 years. Unlike my classmates, for example, unlike my other applicants. So I'm better at this something. Things like that that kind of like put you an advantage or an edge. No, so again, no, so kung na HR officer mangutana sa inyo, kay gusto mo matrabaho, nganong ikaw man ay lang pilion. So what can you tell them? Nung karon as a team, you think about that. No, so why would I consider you as part of my company? So you're trying to apply for my company, for example, no? So why would I choose you? So what things you want to say to me so that I will be convinced to hire you guys? So basically think about that. No, I will not be giving you the specific answers. No, so to challenge you to think about that. So why would I give you money? Now, when you ask something, why would I give you money? Okay. So it's like the parents are telling you. No? So things like that. Think about that. So you don't have a business idea yet. No, so we don't have. So think about the things that you need to say so that you or me will be able to convince that you are the right team you are really the right team for that business idea that you're talking about. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. All right. So do you have questions? Other questions? Thank you, guys. No, so I know you're kind of busy. So I hope you did well in your exam yesterday. So sorry if I have to really schedule this meeting tonight. No? All right. Any other questions? It's 8:58 now, so I have to respect the time that we have left. 2 minutes left. So chat in the chat box if you have some more questions. I'll be entertaining them now as when I'm free, right? So of course, I also have other tasks. Thank you, Chris, no, for for the questions earlier.
You're
All right,
welcome,
guys.
sir.
All right. So I'll see you on Thursday if you want to have more clarification with your PowerPoints, your slides, and then we're gonna have the pitching main event. Same gapon on Monday. We gonna vote po di about ani kung ganahan ba mo nga naan yung class when you pitch, ganahan ba mo naan yung mga classmates or gusto mo kamo lang yun ang nasa room po. Kana po siya. No? So I think I need to be democratic about that. Para you have the option. Kaya bisig di mo ganahan, mamina yung classmates. No? So just let me know. All right. So that's it, guys. Any questions? More questions? All right. I hope that's clear now. Thank you very much, guys, for joining this meeting today. I'll send in the chat box the attendance for tonight so that you'll know who are here as well. All right, with that, it's already 9 o'clock. Thank you guys for coming. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Yes, sir. Good
Thank you,
night.
sir.
Thank you. Salamat. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.